Komura Kaede has a huge crush on his classmate Mie, and over the past school year he has begun to understand another side of his classmate, when she keeps forgetting her classes, causing situations that have brought them closer. One day, their teacher announces an art project where Komura is paired with Mie to make portraits of each other. Komura doesn't want to fail drawing his crush, but he gets nervous when Mie watches him closely because she doesn't have her glasses. Eventually, Mie gives up and asks Komura if she can draw him how she usually imagines him, and Komura is torn between shock over her imagination and wanting to keep the portrait she drew of him. The next day, Mie is with her friend Sumya when she forgot her glasses again. Sumya is used to Mie without her glasses, so she helps to guide the other girls on that day's classes. She also compliments looks, which gives Mie an idea to put her face close to Komura to get him to compliment her. Unfortunately, Komura doesn't know what to do, much to her disappointment. After school, Mie leaves with her friends but accidentally forgets her glasses. Komura ends up finding them after school, but he doesn't know what to do. Although he texts Mie to let her know, she tells him that they can safely leave the glasses on her desk. But since Komura is worried about the glasses staying through the weekend, they agree that he can take them home for safekeeping. Komura quickly runs home with the glasses, but becomes worried that he's being creepy by having her glasses with him. At home, his mother finds his behavior suspicious, but she doesn't call him out on his behavior. After Komura heads to his room, he tries to study, but he keeps getting distracted by imagining his glasses as Mie. Constantly distracted by visions of his crush, he decides to make the glasses face the wall instead of his room. But while holding the glasses, he ends up tempted to wear them. Meanwhile, Mie is at home using her spare glasses to read when she decides to call Komura to thank him for taking care of her glasses. An embarrassed Mie also jokes that having her glasses at his place is like having her visit, and she wonders if she could visit sometime. And for the rest of the weekend, Komura has trouble sleeping because he keeps dreaming about Mie in his room. After the weekend, Mie continues to lose her glasses, so she keeps her face close to him to recognize him. But when she trips one day, she accidentally falls onto Komura, embarrassing him greatly. The apologetic Mie talks about one time when she fell on someone and accidentally kissed them, which completely shocks Komura, until she defends herself that the accident happened between her and her dad when she was a small kid. And the rest of class, Mie is too embarrassed to talk to him. Later, one of her friends comes by to point out her hair is disorganized after all her napping in class. Mie desperately wishes to go to the bathroom to fix her hair, but after Komura tells her that her disheveled hair looks good, she decides to stay in class. Later, when it starts to rain, the two of them wait in class for the rain to pass, and Mie notices Komura rubbing his shoulder. She takes the opportunity to offer him a shoulder rub, telling him that she is quite skilled at them. After he reluctantly accepts, Mie gives the embarrassed Komura a short shoulder rub, and after she finishes, she writes down shoulder rubs in her notebook, adding to a list she can do for Komura since he keeps helping her. Later, Mie discovers a sleeping Komura in class, and the curious girl decides to inspect the boy. But while she is exploring his hand, she doesn't notice him wake up, and the two of them find their hands unintentionally intertwined. A few days later, Komura finds Mie walking to school in the rain, carefully trying to make sure she doesn't trip. Unfortunately, her lack of glasses causes her to completely soak in shoes in water. Komura suggests that she get some spare socks from the nurse's office, but Mie instead takes drastic action and decides to be barefoot in school instead. And the sight of her barefoot causes an embarrassed Komura to keep his face pointed at the window the rest of the day. Afterwards, Mie has recovered her glasses, but ends up locked out of her house. Komura finds her in a park, and the two of them decide to hang out together while she waits for her family. Mie invites Komura to push her on the swing, but Komura gets too embarrassed because Mie is wearing a skirt. Unfortunately, he stops the swing when their faces get too close, which shocks him further. Another day at school, Mie finds a card that falls out of Komura's bag in class. He soon realizes that Mie doesn't know that it's a card filled with game money, so he decides to keep his habit of gaming a secret from her. He makes up an excuse that the card is a small allowance he gets each day, but his lie backfires when she starts to feel bad for him and offers him a small slice of apple for lunch, thinking that he is too broke to get food. After school, Komura gets an unexpected phone call from Mie, who was actually calling her friend Asuka. After apologizing to him, she hangs up but accidentally keeps calling him because without her glasses she can't see her phone contacts that well. Mie is actually at a sleepover at Asuka's and is completely lost at her friend's house, so she was attempting to call her friend to find her. Since they are already speaking, Mie asks if he can sing her a song to distract her from a horror movie she had seen earlier that night. A reluctant Komura sings the school anthem, and Mie giggles at his attempt. Suddenly, Komura hears a sound outside his room, so he attempts to stay quiet so he won't get caught by his family. He tries to whisper to Mie on the phone, which surprises her. Eventually, he persuades her to try to use her phone light to navigate the house, and she eventually reaches the bathroom. After the two of them say goodnight to each other, Mie heads back to the sleepover and quickly falls asleep on her friends. The next day after class, Komura runs into Mie again on the way home and catches her snacking on a treat. An embarrassed Mie tells him not to tell the other students about her snacking habits. Suddenly Komura spots that she had won a prize from her popsicle stick, and she is able to stop him from tossing it out. Since Mie can't really see the stick, she decides to give it to him, and Komura is stuck staring in wonder at the stick after she departs. Later, Komura decides to follow a cat around when he unexpectedly comes across a girl confessing to their popular classmate Azuma. He quickly hides to give their classmates some privacy, but spots Mie wandering around imitating cat sounds to find the stray cat. Komura attempts to save her some embarrassment by making sure she doesn't overhear the confession happening nearby, but he becomes distracted by his own future possible confession attempt to her. The cat forces the issue by wandering towards their classmates, and Mie follows closely behind until Komura unexpectedly takes her by the hand and hides her behind a tree. Azuma ends up gently rejecting their classmate, while Mie slowly understands by overhearing the confession that she almost interrupted the romantic moment. In the aftermath, Komura continues to dream about his own confession one day. Later, the class is looking forward to a field trip together and need to split themselves into groups. Komura and his friends discuss becoming a group together, but his friends can quickly tell that Komura wants to be in a group with Mie instead. They also point out that if Mie forgets her glasses, he can protect her from any accidents, and they encourage him to somehow join her group. But after discovering the group can be 6 students, they wonder if they can somehow join Mie and her friends together in one big group. Meanwhile, Mie keeps sneaking glances at Komura when her friends ask her what her plan is for the field trip. Very aware that she is basically blind without her glasses, she proudly proclaims that she will carry spares in her bag for the trip. Her friends then tease her about possibly joining Komura's group when the boys suddenly arrive in front of the girls asking to join forces. The students all agree to go on the trip together, and they pair up Komura and Mie so that he can keep an eye on her. Later, Mie slyly points out they each had the same thoughts, and she looks forward to going on the trip with him. Unfortunately for her, after she prepares for the trip with her class, she discovers that night she only has a single pair of extra glasses for the trip. She ends up unable to sleep that night, excited to go on the trip with Komura, but also worried that she might lose her glasses. This ends up making her oversleep, and when she rushes to school the next day, she ends up stepping on her glasses by accident. Luckily, she still has the one spare pair of glasses, and her friends warn her not to spend too much or get lost on the trip. Unfortunately for her, she realizes that her spare glasses were actually fake glasses she bought with her friends on a previous trip, and they are completely useless to her. A determined Mie still wears them anyway, but Komura can tell that she is having trouble seeing the exhibits on the trip and cannot complete her written assignments. He feels sorry for her, and she accidentally falls on him. Throughout the museum trip, Komura follows her around to try to go give her hints so that she can complete her assignment, but a determined Mie sends him away even though she can tell he is trying to help. Unfortunately, when the class heads to the next part of the trip, Mie accidentally follows students from a different school and has to be found by Komura. She apologizes for sending him away and causing trouble for the group, panicking Komura when she starts to cry about being a burden to him and the others. The two of them sit together and Komura gives Mie some space to cry. After a moment, he admits that he doesn't think that she is a burden when she loses her glasses, and that he actually treasures the moments she forgets her glasses because he likes helping her in class. Eventually, they make their way back to their class, and on the bus home, Mie tells him that she still believes he is too nice to her, and the two of them hold hands in silence. A few days later, Mie is thinking about Komura's words to her on the trip, and although she is flattered by his attention, she becomes determined to try her best to be independent. Even though wearing contacts makes her uncomfortable, she makes an effort to wear contacts to school and promises Komura that she will try to wear contacts whenever she forgets her glasses. To her surprise, Komura doesn't act enthusiastically to her announcement, and she starts wondering about her reaction at lunchtime. Her friends later point out that she doesn't seem comfortable wearing contacts. Asuka gets an unexpected call from their classmate Yasaka, and her other friend Sumya begins to panic since Asuka might have feelings for their classmate. Later, Mie is thinking about relationships when she runs into Komura in the halls. She tells him that she might not wear contacts that often, and that she enjoys the moments when they are close together. After examining his face closely, Mie gets a sudden realization when she sees him blushing, and she runs away, wondering if the boy she likes might actually have feelings for her. And this is all for this video. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.